Hello again, Jim Dowson here, guest presenter with the Templar report. Well, we've had a very interesting few days in the United Kingdom. I know America's much the same with your recent abortion legislation. Well done, excellent. But listen, I want to give a warning to our American friends, Australian friends, Canadians, and in fact everybody all over the world. Because when you look at what's been going on in Britain, in England in particular, that's in store for you. And some of the stuff we've seen recently, especially during this European election campaign, is truly shocking. And if anybody was in any doubt that we are actually under siege and in a state of war with the establishment and by the invaders, you need to watch some of the stuff we're going to show you on this report. Now, bear with me. On Saturday, Tommy Robinson was having a political demonstration because he's running for the European Parliament in a town in the north of England called Oldham. It's got a high Muslim population, so he decided to have his rally not in the town centre because that could cause aggro. He was going to have it in a almost entirely white English working class housing estate. No problem, you say. There would be no problem, but a group called the Muslim Defence League rassled up people from across the country, from miles and miles away. They congregated in the town and then were led over a mile by the police. I'm not joking you. So the police, the British police, are leading a gang of clearly masked and armed with sticks, bottles, bricks, group of militant Islamists through the town, all the way up to where Tommy Robinson and other English patriots, British patriots were having a rally. On it, led by the police, as you just seen in that clip. They led them there. And these guys have got masks on and all the rest of it. And the Facebook and the social media was filled by these, because these people have got Facebook. Can you imagine that? We're banned, everybody else is banned, but they've got Facebook. They were openly talking about coming and setting about these people, attacking the racists and all the rest of it. They were saying, come and help us defeat the kuffar. What does the kuffar mean again? It's a horrible name, isn't it? Yeah. The infidels, the unbelievers, us. And it's on Facebook, it was on Twitter, it was all over social media. So the police knew it was happening. So what did they do? Did they take appropriate action to stop these people doing? No, they met them in the town and led them over a mile up to where the rally was. And a riot ensued. A one-sided riot, because the English people didn't really fight back. Now, why is this happening? I'll tell you why it's happening, because every single day now, at these political rallies, whether it's Tommy Robinson, Nigel Farage, or what's that, Sargon, or what is it? Sargon of Akkad. What a stupid name for a grown-up. But he's a rather stupid guy. But anyway, he's perceived as being right-wing. They're getting milkshakes thrown all over them. And it's got to the state now where the police have said to McDonald's, stop selling milkshakes because there's a rally in the town. And everybody's laughing about it. And the mainstream media is laughing about people going up and throwing milkshake in somebody's face. It's a milkshake today, it's acid tomorrow. But the mainstream media are laughing about it. Even ministers, government ministers are laughing about it. And Burger King has actually said, McDonald's hasn't got milkshakes, we do, have fun. Can you believe this? This is absolutely blatant incitement to violence. And all the left wing are just laughing about it. You know, if you say a bad word, if you say, not a bad word, but just disagree with the left, you're in jail. There was a couple of guys jailed recently in England because they called an MP, Anna Soubry, a Nazi because she refuses to accept the referendum on Brexit. They said, you're a Nazi. They got arrested, put in jail. But they're laughing about throwing milkshakes and attacking people and swinging punches at people. Oh, they deserve it, they're just Nazis. Yeah, this is what they're saying. We're Nazis, right wing, so you deserve it and you get. This form of dehumanisation is exactly what the real Nazis employed against the Jewish people in the 1930s. The exact same thing. Dehumanise people, and then you can attack them, you can take their businesses, and you see people being deplatformed, demonetized. That's what happened to the Jews in Germany in a different way. They were boycotted, they were put out of business, and then anybody attacking them was sort of let off the hook or not even charged. This is what's happening now. And what's the next stage? They'll start killing us. If you think I'm joking, I ain't joking. The violence that we seen the other day on Saturday was quite shocking. There was women and children and old men hit with bricks and bottles and attacked. And that's what's going on. This is what's going on because the mainstream media are encouraging it. And the police are facilitating it. You know, and after that riot on Saturday, and you'll see more clips later on, not one person was arrested. Not one. Not one person was arrested. They're quite clearly throwing bricks, and you see the police shying away. Nobody was arrested. And that's the result of the mainstream media and the political establishment more or less saying, green light, attack the right. And that's what's happening. And we had locals viciously beaten. I want to show you a couple of clips here. Here's one of an old man being smacked right in the face by invading Muslims into this housing estate. See, there's a housing estate where these English people live, and the Muslims invaded the housing estate. Well, have a look at this old man getting smacked in the face. Shocking. Anybody arrested for that? No, the police grabbed the guy. Nobody arrested. And have a look at this. Now, here's the newspapers saying that people were fighting at the Tommy Robinson rally. Have a look at this one small, skinny guy, English guy, being attacked by a pack of ravenous Muslim Defence League thugs. Can you see much fighting there? It's a vicious attack again. Anybody arrested? Zero. That's what's going on. And then the press, because they know they've created this problem, they think, oh my goodness, they try and then cover it up. They add insult to injury by misrepresenting what actually happened. I've looked at every single paper in Britain. I've looked at the BBC. I've looked at all the news channels, even in America, CNN. They're saying there was a Tommy Robinson rally, police cars were smashed up, and people chanting were attacked. And one actually goes as far as to manipulate and saying people chanting anti-Nazi slogans were attacked. So there's nothing. This is outrageous. There was a peaceful rally by British, English people, and 300 Muslim Defence League people came from all over the country, were escorted there by the police and let loose, and they attacked these people. Nobody retaliated, nobody fought back. That's the reality. And every single newspaper, every single one, no exceptions, all really tried hard. They must have got their best writers in to create a headline that at a quick glance you would think, Tommy Robinson rally, Tommy's boys have went mad and attacked anti-racist, anti-Nazi protesters. That's the narrative. And it didn't happen like that. And let me just add, I'm no friend of Tommy Robinson. Let's get that clear here. I am no friend of Tommy Robinson or what he stands for. I think he's far too mild. I don't think he's hardline enough. I don't think he's right-wing enough. But that's a different story. But that's what happened. Now, I need to talk about something, yes, let's establish the facts here. The media and the elites are outrageous for whipping up this violence and not calling it out. You're a disgrace. And a warning to the left wing and the media, once you allow violence to be perpetrated upon people, it's only a matter of time before they react. And don't go there. I live in Northern Ireland. Don't go there. Because once that Pandora's box is open, it took us 30 years to get the lid back on. So you keep promoting violence against right-wing people. At one point, right-wing people say, I ain't taking this anymore. Boom, and then it's all up. Or the police, they just keep appeasing these militant Muslims. The first time the police say, no, you can't do this anymore, all your years of community work will all be up in the air because the whole town will be on fire and there'll be a riot and a troubled situation like we had in Ireland will be started. And it doesn't matter how much you appease them. If that's where you're going, that's where you're going to end up. And all your appeasement is doing is making you look stupid and weak. And mark my words, this is going to happen. So we know the police are to blame, we know the media's to blame, we know the elites to blame. But I want to talk to the men of England and Oldham and England generally. Look, you know you ain't going to get any protection for the police. They led that mob right into the heart of your housing project, your housing area, your housing estate. Your women and children live there. Not mine, yours. And you had no defence. You know the police aren't going to help you. You say, well, we're shocked. We thought the police would help us. Come on, you know fine well the police won't help you. If you see the police bringing them up there, they ain't on your side. There was no men lined up in formation. There was no pre-thought going into it. How do we defend this area if we're attacked? Guys, this is serious. I don't want to give you too much a hard time, but I'm going to give you a hard time. It's your duty, not the police, not the government. And this is a big problem with English people. They always follow the rules like the Germans. Oh, it's the police's job to do that. Listen, I grew up nearly all my life in Northern Ireland. I know what I'm talking about. It's not a guy in a suit here talking garbage. I've been in street riots. I've defended streets in Belfast. I lived up the Shankill. I lived in the Woodville. I lived down the bottom of the Shankill Road in Brown Street. I've been there. I've been on the street, toe to toe with violent invaders. I've fought them. I've got scars. I've got scars all over my head. I've got stab wounds. I've got one through my hand. I've got one on my side. I've been there. I've done it. And I'm only a wee guy. But at the end of the day, the responsibility of my children's safety and my wife's safety is mine. Not the police, not the British Army, not the Tory Party, not the Labour Party, not Brexit, not Nigel Farage. It's your responsibility to protect your wife, your children. And if you fail in that responsibility, you fail in the most basic requirements of being a man. And you should be black affronted, shamed of yourself. Because there was no defence mechanism swung into action there in Oldham on Saturday. And if those guys had been armed, you'd be finished. And I'm telling you right now, it won't stop there. They will come again. And maybe the next time they'll come, they'll have axes and knives, maybe even guns. And just in case, again, you think I'm some kind of armchair warrior, I've been on the street when guns have been used. When we've not had guns, but the other crowd had guns. And we still stood our ground. We never ran away. And a young lad at 16-year-old lost his life in one of the riots I was involved in, holding back a mob of 150 terror-supporting hooligans. And no, before we could get rallied to help the young lad was out throwing blast bombs to keep these people out of his district. And I'll be very honest with you, it's a district that you wouldn't have noticed it went fire. It's an utter shithole, and no human being should be expected to live in it. But that guy's mum lived there. He had no kids, he's only a young guy, he was only 16, his mum lived there. And he lost his life defending that area, because even at 16, he knew that was his duty, his responsibility before his mother and his people to defend his area, even if it cost him his life. Guys in England, you're going to have to get serious, because this is going to get much worse. Much worse. And one day, one of your housing estates are going to get wiped out in a pogrom, and there's going to be bodies all over the place. What are you going to do? How are you going to look at your wife? How are you going to look at your daughter, your son in the eye when you've allowed that to happen? Huh? What kind of man are you? I'm not promoting violence here. I'm promoting defence. You cannot sit on your hands and allow this to happen. And if you honestly think that voting for Tommy Robinson or Nigel Farage or anybody else can stop this, you're an idiot. We've had years of this. We know voting's not going to stop this. And even if we do vote, they just disregard the vote. But even if Brexit does go through, so what? Is that going to get rid of all them boys that invaded your area the other day? They're all going to disappear into the ether? No, they're going to be there, and they're breeding. And there's going to be more of them. In 10 years' time, there'll be double the amount of them. So if you think politics can cure this, you're a fool. And I don't want to talk to you anymore, because I'm wasting my breath. As the Bible says, I'm throwing peril before swines. You need to get real. You need to join something like the Templars and start preparing to defend your family. And again, I'm not promoting violence any way, shape or form. I'm trying to prevent violence. But when violence comes, you need to know how to defend yourself. That's a lawful, legitimate and honourable thing to do, to defend yourself, to defend your wife and to defend your kids, even if it costs your life. You cannot just rely on personalities like Tommy Robinson or Farage, because in the middle of the night when they guys come down your street, they won't be there. The police might be there, but the police will be leading them into your area, not repelling them out, as you now know, because you've seen it. So, folks, it's time to get real. And I'm not talking to the women in this, because I'm fed up, and even the other day there are loads of women on the street. Ladies, when a riot starts, get off the street. You're getting in the way of the men, and the amount of people I've seen having to push women back. Get real, you're a woman. What are you going to do against a 15-stone crazed jihadi? Seriously, all you're doing is getting in the men's road. And I don't want to insult women, but look, women, you look after the kids. Get the kids in, don't look after them, protect them with your life. And I know how vicious women can be when you go for their kids, but do it in the house, don't do it in the street. Men, you get out in the street and defend your area, and defend your area until you've not got a breath left in your body, or you're no man at all. It's as simple as that. And these other guys, they smell weakness. And what we seen on Saturday was weak. And I'm a British person through and through. I'll stand with the men of Oldham anytime. Anytime. You want me there? I'll be there, and I'll stand with you, and I'll drop with you if necessary. But let's get real. Let's man up and get the job done and protect our loved ones. No surrender. Thank you very much.
The threat is real, and we are on the front line. In a world of misinformation and attacks from the left and mainstream media, censorship, deplatforming, it is time to call out the fake news and bring you the truth. We are the Knights Templar. Visit our website and join today. We are the Resistance. Deus Vult.